use of third-party tools is strictly prohibited. Players who are determined to be using third-party tools will have their accounts suspended or permanently banned for repeat offense. Those are Yoshi P words, not mine. So a few hours ago, Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, released an article that I'm going to go through here because it's pretty significant and very on the nose about the current state of the community, as well as how the developers are going to be approaching things. But this isn't just a negative post, there is actually a sliver of very interesting news about how they plan to increase the quality of life and user interface in the future for the baseline game, and so very much not just a negative post in my point of view. The article starts by saying that patch 6.11 brought in Dragonsong's Reprise Ultimate, where not surprisingly the developers have heard about the third-party tools being used, which, if I'm quite honest, is as shocking as it gets. Scandal never ends, guys, but for real, we have streams and video clips with very obviously bongos and dings and tings. When you are first introduced to these through like YouTube videos or streams, you very quickly pick on, oh, that's what that noise is, alongside some obvious other tools, which, to be clear, I'm not going to name on my channel. I don't really want to be involved in that in any capacity. Now, to be clear, because people might think I'm casting judgment or something weird, to be quite clear, I personally am way too busy in my real life and all the things going on. I personally don't care what you do. Fly yourself to the moon riding on the back of a magical flatulent pig for all I care. However, the community did take note, and most people are significantly less chill than I am in general, but especially about this topic. I've seen many extremely explosive outbursts on this topic, whether it be Twitter, whether it be some YouTube videos, whether it be forum posts, whether it be Reddit posts. There have been outbursts everywhere. Likewise, it is absolutely shocking, absolutely mind-blowing that the developers somehow heard of all this too. Now I'm gonna respect Yoshi P's words of refraining from sharing excerpts of the text out of context, and so I am going to be reading through the entire article, and then after each section I'm going to give a little bit of my take and a little bit more information that I think might like clear things up, or maybe make things make more sense. So first up is the use of third-party tools, and as stated in the terms of service for Final Fantasy XIV, the use of third-party tools is strictly prohibited. Players who are determined to be using third-party tools will have their accounts suspended or permanently banned for repeat offenses, which, if I'm totally honest, is something that we have known for pretty much forever in this game. This has been stated over and over again through the years. Next section is defining third-party tools. They then say, we have received requests from players asking that we define what tools are and aren't permissible, but to do so would require an assessment of all third-party tools available on the internet, as well as all gaming devices and their functionality. Unfortunately, such an undertaking is physically impossible, which is why we decided to simply prohibit the use of all third-party tools and software. By the same token, it is impossible for us to check which programs are installed on every single player's PC. This is why we cannot identify and reprimand offenders 100% of the time. To offer more clarity on our process, here are a few examples of the rule violations we prioritize for investigation. We then go on to list 4 specific things, like the use of tools that allow players to more easily complete content, modification of the UI to display additional information, use of packet spoofing tools, any actions or public statements that promote the use of third-party tools. I guess that would be pretty obvious. They don't want you advertising those kinds of things. And then they say all reports of such activity warrant investigation, and accounts determined to be in violation of the game's terms of service will be suspended or banned unless there is a significant change to the terms of service, which would be publicly announced. This rule remains as is. Poor remove. Remove Freudian slip. Third section is hacks, mods, and risk of infection from malicious software. So they say hacks are alterations of a program that can allow for otherwise impossible things to happen. For Final Fantasy XIV, which relies on server-client communication, hacking is much more difficult than in other online games. Moreover, our security measures are being improved upon constantly, and we will continue to bolster them into the future. Supplementary tools known as mods, however, can do a number of things, such as display additional information sent by the 14 servers on screen, or send false packet information to change the location of characters. In the case of the latter, we have systems in place to automatically check and inspect system logs, allowing us to immediately take action against cheaters when discovered. I'm assuming that that has something to do with why we see those teleporting bots flying around. They then continue saying, in short, the use of such tools will not allow players to automatically clear high-end content, yet carries a high risk of being penalized, so we ask that you refrain from using them. I really kind of want to go on a tangent and say that what Yoshi P said here is actually really important and really legit. This isn't just trying to scare people. Let's say that you have the absolute best raid leader in the world, and they just can call out every mechanic perfectly to every individual member, and that is just amazing. you still need, in the first place, baseline to get a group of people together, which I think a lot of people overlook the human factor. You can be the best player in 14, the absolute best, peerless, absolute gift from God above, and you will get absolutely nowhere unless you have 7 other people that can stand your personality, which makes me very curious how some people have gone their clears, if I'm quite honest, because their personality is assuming that you have that team together, and assuming you have the human element, and assuming that this raid leader is giving out these mechanics, you still need to be executing them. Like, the raid leader could say, go to B marker and then execute exit flare, so do lights rampant or something like this. Like, let alone personal responsibility mechanics, which theoretically, if the raid leader was like eyeing your character, could maybe like call out for you, like, oh, you have like the purple tether, so just go clockwise, or you have the blue tether and go across the field and then move 1 clockwise because someone's already in that tower for P4S phase 2 or something like that. Problem is, you still need to be aware of those mechanics, and you still need to be able to like understand and comprehend and be able to like do them in the moment, as well as for, especially as a barrier healer main, like, I need to be constantly aware of what is going to happen like 5 steps ahead of where it does, because it's just like a recitation add low in that I spread after buffing it with what, protraction or maybe even dissipation. Let's get fun with here, let's say both. I need to be aware many steps ahead of it, and so like really you need to be aware of the mechanics and stuff like that. So these things really do not guarantee a clear. I guess that is what I'm trying to get at here, is like, Yoshi P is not lying. Yoshi P is not trying to scare you. This is a real fact. These certainly do not guarantee a clear. And back to the article itself, Yoshi P then said, we received many inquiries regarding infection by viruses and spyware that steal passwords. After downloading third-party tools and plugins to keep your system secure, we ask that you exercise judgment and refrain from needlessly downloading third-party tools or software from unknown origins. This next upcoming section is actually probably the most interesting thing for me personally, because I really look forward to this content. And so it is enhancements of the HUD, so basically what you see, as well as like other UI elements, so like hot bars, what you like, visual elements, gauges, and that kind of stuff. And so they say that we believe that people use the aforementioned tools to expand the HUD and display more information because they feel that the existing functions are insufficient for tackling high-end duties. In recognition of this, we intend to review the most prominent tools, and in order to discourage their use, endeavor to enhance the functionality of the HUD. Though it will take some time, we're determined to make it happen, not least for the benefit of those who play on consoles. So yeah, my take on this section is that it means that we're getting some major UI revamp, which I am honestly genuinely excited for. You can bet I'm actually legit thrilled for this, because as someone who does use the base UI, because I actually don't use mods, else trust me, I'd be modding the Rothgar hair. You know I would. I am a sucker for the Jim douche bro style. It would be backwards hat. Yeah, I would be on that, and you would not be able to miss it. I'm legit thrilled for this. Please give me more UI, like mouse over macros and that kind of stuff, and like being able to like right click like a party bar, like what WoW's UI could do. Like, I would love that for things like giving an AST card or stuff like that, or like cardio swapping rather than my like janky macro that I keep at the side of my thing. But I digress. I'm getting off topic. I'll get back to it. So the 5th section is high-end duties and world races. It goes without saying that we're aware of world races for high-end duties, as the developers were proud to have grown into one of the few games where they're held, and it delights us to see so many players participate as well as spectate with great interest. But a race should be fair, and it is our earnest wish that participants don't use third-party tools. I watched the VODs, and the bongs were very obvious. Obviously, though, like, it was still an achievement, though. So, but I mean, y'all heard the bongs. They continue by saying, indeed, we've only released duties that we have proven can be beaten with the game's standard features. Without a doubt, patch 6.11's Dragonsong's Reprise is the hardest duty we've ever created. Some may compare it to the unending coil of Bahamut, but taking into account our players' improved skill, the increased number of actions, and the more complex mechanics, this latest ultimate entry has the edge. To be able to conquer it in such a short time requires great individual prowess, teamwork, and support, and you can consider this gamer thoroughly impressed. I fully agree. With or without tools, I actually have been very shocked and impressed with everything that I've seen. This has actually been a monumental achievement. I'm so... It's actually genuinely amazing what people have done. I actually really find that it inspires even me as a player. I'm genuinely interested in it because of what I've seen. Anyhow, they continue saying, because such races are unofficial, we usually limit our involvement to some comments after a number of teams have cleared their duty by offering our congratulations via the official Twitter account and confirming timestamps. We want to recognize your achievements and contribute to community excitement. However, if our recognition encourages excessive competition and controversy to the extent that players resort to third-party tools, I regret to say we may have to reconsider making comments in the future. Now for section 6, which is data mining and screenshot leaks, they say due to an oversight on the development team's part, model data for Dragonsong's Reprise was present in the 6.08 data. The data was mined and the appearance of the raid's final boss was made public. Such data is normally masked and cannot be discovered, but at this time it slipped through our checks. In addition, at virtually the same time the patch was released, a screenshot from a phase the players had yet to reach was leaked. We believe it came from an insider and are in the middle of a thorough investigation. We refrained from making this known earlier because it would make the investigation more difficult if the suspect were aware of it. Such leaks are utterly unacceptable, for they not only undermine the efforts of the development and operation teams, but also take away from our players' enjoyment. Previously, when a major leak occurred prior to the release of Shadowbringers, we succeeded in identifying the culprit and took legal action. That there has been another leak despite this is deeply concerning, and in addition to bringing the offender to account, we'll take measures to prevent a repeat of the situation. They then continue saying, now be it graphical resources or something else, there may be legal ramifications for mining private data via illicit means with the intent to make it public. Perhaps due to high interest, however, we have been seeing websites that openly release mined graphical data. As a show of our admiration for those who clear ultimate raids, we designed the reward weapons to be as eye-catching as possible, and to widely spread their images outside of the game could diminish players' motivation to earn them. I've made this request before and I make it again. Please refrain from disseminating mine data. My take on this is honestly, I hate to say it, but this is honestly how I feel. I feel so unmotivated to do DSR. Like, I honestly do. Like, maybe I shouldn't even be saying this because it is such a controversial opinion, but let's be honest, most people are probably not going to even watch this far into the video. I would be amazed if most people even heard this. But like, I looked at the DSR weapons and I thought, oh my god, this reminds me of P3S. It reminds me of the Heaven on High Empyrean weapons. It looks kind of like burnt cheddar, and I saw my motivation to complete the content go from super duper high, and it just plummeted. Like, I'm going to be real with you, if I did not have the group of people that I do have who I love, like every single person in my raid, I fucking love. I love these people. Like, these people are like super close friends to me. I have my boyfriend co-healing with me. I love them. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. I hate the aesthetic of the DSR weapons so much I cannot emphasize it. Like, if this group goes belly up, I can see myself literally not doing it. I like the T aesthetic so much more. It is cleaner, it has those cool gear effects. I hate these ones, and then I'm just like, so really why you're even gonna see me prog DSR is literally only because of my raid group, because I don't want to let them down and for the experience of it, and because I really want to do that with them. But like, if this group goes belly up, you will not see a single DSR thing because I honestly find the weapons hideous. Obviously, if that happens, you'll probably see me try UCOB, ooh, and try UCOB. Girl, we don't talk about Stormblood on here. I will be re-going to UCOB. You'll see you'll see T, but DSR, I literally despise the aesthetic, and so I cannot emphasize that I'm probably not alone in this, and this is probably exactly what Yoshi P is talking about. Like, I respect the graphical designers, I want to be clear, I respect their work, but I actually really hate these weapons. I would not be doing DSR if this static goes belly up. You will not see it like a single time on my channel. I just don't like it. Then in before comments telling me about the puritanical and pure nature of raiding, child, spare me. I'm here for the rewards and for fun. These rewards are not good, and I don't want to do recruitment simulator again. That, oh god, finding, like, getting all my friends together, getting people that like get along together and have the raid experience, that was a full-time job on top of my full-time job I do already. I digress though, moving on, but that's what Yoshi P means, because it definitely did unmotivate me. Section 7 is on server emulation. The leaks outlined above have led to some to speculate that groups may have used server emulators to figure out the progression timeline for this battle. However, 14 is run by a variety of independent programs operating on a multitude of specialized servers, so to completely emulate its server environment outside of our infrastructure is impossible. It would cost tens of millions of yen just to obtain the necessary servers. Without these servers and their proprietary programming, while one could potentially pull the client software and display model data and the like, the game itself will not operate. Interesting architectural style. Actually, I've been meaning to do a lot more. So like you have like monolithic applications and then you were able to like break them up into microservices. I'm thinking that they're saying that they're using microservices. It's something that I myself have in my professional life want to do more of. But anyhow, they continue saying even if one were somehow able to accomplish such a feat, it would still be physically impossible to run the unique programming introduced to the servers upon application of each patch before the patch is even released. The progression timeline for each duty exists solely within this server-side code. It is never included in the patch data downloaded to players' clients. I apologize for any undue concern caused by these rumors, which themselves were sparked by the aforementioned leaks, and once again assure you that we will conduct a full investigation to prevent this from happening in the future. I'm getting flashbacks to T, the Epic of Alexander. Oh lord. Then this finishes with the conclusion, and then they say, thanks to our devoted warriors of light, Final Fantasy XIV has grown into a titan among games. This means that it is now home to players from all walks of life, and not just longtime 14 fans, but those who have recently come to join us from a myriad of other game communities as well. Many more eyes are now on 14, and posting about it garners a great deal of attention, which has changed how information is shared online and spreads throughout the player base. With this in mind, I would like to encourage the development of a strong 14 community by continuing to provide commentary as I have today. Truly, I cannot apologize enough for the many mistakes we made in 6.1 and the resulting disappointment in such a major patch. Aww. Okay, this is me breaking it. No, 6.1 was actually amazing. I've had so much fun in this patch. I think that unfortunately there has been drama with the ultimate, but honestly after the Epic of Alexander there was so much drama with that. I don't think you can top the drama with that one. That was some unhinged stuff. Anyhow, I'm going to continue the conclusion. Nevertheless, we intend to forge ahead so that 14 may continue to bring joy to as many players as possible, and we hope you will stay with us on this journey. Obviously, my take is that the 14 devs, and I've said this so many times on my channel, they are the Final Fantasy XIV advantage. Their communication, how just candid they are, just everything that they're communicating. I love our developers so much, and I'm shocked to hear that they feel that they made many mistakes in 6.1. I am actually dead ass shocked because I love PvP. I thought the Alliance raid, it was easier than I wanted, obviously, but it was good. The armor that you get is beautiful for that. There are so many great things, so that actually makes me really sad to hear. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about all this. This was a doozy, but I want to respect Yoshi P's wishes and read the entire thing, so here.